The older you get, the man or the woman or whatever you claim to be staring back to you in the mirror doesn't quite resemble the image that you saw only a few years back. With your body or skin suit, flesh suit starting to, show signs of receding hairlines or wrinkles or bags underneath your eyes. Oh, those fearful states of maturity that start to, hover over you, like women starting to face menopause and men getting ready to approach the dreadful prostate exam. Well, despite how old you are or which generation you're from, today in this video we're going to continue the discussion surrounding why growing older and living in maturity pretty much the same state as living in misery. If you personally can relate to anything discussed in this video, or you've simply just been enjoying my daily drama commentaries over here on the page, don't forget to like, comment your thoughts, opinions down below, and subscribe to see my daily videos right here on the channel. And a huge shout out to any of you guys checking out those links down below in the description. Those are always some of the best ways to support me and the content around here. Now, let's begin this shit show.
Do you ever think about just how much money we as girls spend on our looks or just like maintaining our appearance? I've been thinking about this a lot lately because I've been wanting Botox for a really long time. I'm not even 25 yet, but I feel like I really notice these wrinkles on like the sides of my forehead. But Botox is one of the many annoying things that like once you start going, you need to consistently go to keep up with it. It's not like a go one time and you're good for the rest of your life. It's a you go once and you're committing to that cost for kind of the rest of your life. And I've just been thinking a lot about how there's so many of these procedures that are like recurring costs and are becoming the norm to get in your 20s. So I mapped out how much all of these kind of cost on an annual basis, and the total is kind of crazy. First, for hair, if you get highlights, lowlights, any type of color on your hair, I said that's about $300 on average, and you're going about 5 times a year. Nails are about $80 a session, and you're going about 17 times a year. That's on average 3 weeks apart. Pedicures, I assume that you go once a quarter at $80. Botox, I've never priced this out because I've never gotten Botox, but I said about $400 a session and 3 times a year. Filler, same thing. I don't really know the price of filler, but I assumed it's $800 a session at 2 times a year. Facials, if you're getting a facial once a quarter at $150 a facial. And then your eyebrows, there's a ton of different things you can do to your eyebrows. I went off of microblading because that's what I've gotten done to my eyebrows, and it's about once a year to get them done. Annual total for all of these procedures comes out to over $7,000. And I'm not here to say what you should and shouldn't do with your money. I do some of the things on this list, but when you think about it this way, I am definitely reconsidering Botox. Let me know what you would add to this list and if I'm forgetting anything.
Now, the West has found so many ways to capitalize on this fear of aging, with women always comparing themselves to their next door neighbors and their peers more than ever before, with online social media giving you constant access, constant dopamine stream, and constant comparisons to everybody else that is most likely faking it a lot harder than you could ever even afford to. And we're going to touch on today these different topics of aging and how it affects everybody a little bit differently. Now, the more I read through some of the comments, it seems like in modern generations, people actually are a lot more insecure about these types of things. People really do have a little bit of a backlash between how they look, and being that you're constantly taking profile pictures, you're constantly trying to impress the people from high school that past generations forgot about long ago. You constantly have to look at what you look like 10 years ago, 10 years before that, and then you got to imagine 10 years ahead of time. Now, hell, even Snapchat throws you filters, so you can kind of see the anticipation of how ugly you're about to be in your upcoming years. But if you personally have no care in the world about how you look, maybe leave some tips and tricks down below in the comments of how that is or why that's the case. And if you do overcare or if you overthink about your looks, maybe leave down below in the comments which parts of yourself you are the most insecure about, if you feel the level of embarrassment to share that with the world.
Once you hit your 30s, things start to change. Ain't nobody prepared me for my 30s growing up. You start to realize that, oh shit, I'm not young anymore in many different ways. You start going to sleep early, waking up late. You ain't never seen nobody struggling more than a 30-something-year-old past 10 p.m. It's like, just fighting that sleep. I'm up. And then if you do get to sleep and just happen to sleep the wrong way, you wake up with a bunch of mystery aches. She'd be like, God damn, well, how'd I get there? I used to be able to eat a solid 200 grams of sugar and just go about my day like nothing happened. Now I get a good meal in and I already got the itis. I need a nap. And then I started thinking about the scope of my life on some existential shit like, okay, I'm 30-something now. If I live another life, that means I'm 60-something. I mean, I got half of my life left. And I done started sitting outside for no reason, just on the porch, appreciating nature and shit. And if you still got your parents, you start to see them visibly getting old and shit. Every time I go to my parents' house, I'm like, okay, if I'm old, y'all old as hell. So yeah, man, them 30s ain't no joke at all. Hell, I don't even want to know what my 40s gonna look like. I can wait. So yeah, man, if you in your 30s, how was your transition? Because mine was abrupt, and I was not ready at all.
When I was a teenager, I always kind of anticipated and looked forward to being in my 20s. I always thought that, wow, I'd be able to do so much more. I'd be able to afford a lifestyle that I couldn't afford in my teens. Actually, I I'm still sitting in the same spot. I really am pretty much very similar as I was in my teens. And that's not just because I didn't try. It's because of trials and tribulations, failures and successes, and just how life hits you along the way. But that's okay. We all have our own path here that God graces us with. God bless. Amen. But it really is crazy when you really break it down, where it's like when I read through some of the comments, I'm only 25 years old, despite how you want to look at it. And a lot of the younger generation, which I guess I am still that, but I'm Gen Z, the Gen Alphas, all that, they call me uncle. Fair enough, I am an uncle. I actually have 2 nieces, 3 nephews, and another niece on the way currently, so I am an uncle. I'm the youngest in my siblings, so my brother and sister are much older than me and have their life a little more established than I do right now. But, you know, I don't really feel that old. And I feel like when a lot of you younger folks who do call your peers unks or aunties, or I don't really hear that actually, unks I hear literally every day, you have to realize it's only going to be a few years from now where you'll be in the exact same position that I am, or a lot of people you're calling this are, and it's not going to feel like an insult. It's just going to feel like reality. So let's kind of get that into our heads here, huh? If you ask a lot of millennials or Gen Z or even Gen Alpha, they probably tell you that they plan on joining the 27 club. They don't plan on living far past 30, and even imagine themselves in their 50s is damn near unheard of. Because they don't plan to own anything, the idea of retirement or any sort of ownership or traditional family is totally out the window, and any sense of that, you know, entitlement that boomers like to grant upon the younger generation, I don't think really holds too true. So if you personally have any thoughts, opinions regarding anything discussed in today's video, if you're currently experiencing a weird midlife crisis, if you're even older than that, and you're having a hard time with your age, please share for the younger folks what you're dealing with, how it's affecting you, and how you're resolving some of these issues. I feel like a lot of people can use these tips and tricks and use them for their benefit. So a huge shout out to have you guys checking out these videos each and every day. I genuinely am trying to be more consistent with different topics and higher quality conversations, so I more than appreciate you guys showing your support down below in the comment section. Even a handful of you guys showing your support through those links down below in the description. Those are always some of the best ways to support me and the content around here. I more than appreciate you guys watching and listening. Feel free to let me know where you're from. It's always great to hear where people are, you know, listening and watching from. And see you in the next one. It's kind of like after this one, so God bless.